Hi everybody, it's Tasso. I believe there are two kinds of people. Those people who love series, CSI and Orange is the New Black and Game of Thrones. And there are those people who like movies. I'm one of those. I like movies. I love movies. And in particular, I love Hollywood movies. In my closer circle of friends, there are not really many people who share my view or my passion. They find Hollywood movies are very shallow, very often superficial, they're very patriotic, and they prefer those independent movies. Those low budget movies that are a little bit closer to reality, let's say this way. And although I appreciate, the wake-up call of these movies and the way they paint a realistic picture of the reality, a realistic picture of the situation, I still prefer the Hollywood movies because, I don't know, they paint a brighter picture of the future. They show something, or they show a way that things could be or should be. It's more inspiring for me. I don't know, maybe I'm a dreamer or an idealist, I don't know. So today I wanted to share with you a thought that I had after watching one of those Hollywood movies just recently. And that Hollywood movie was Star Trek. Now, I can imagine what just happened. When I talked about movies, maybe my audience shrinked from this big to this big when I said about Hollywood, and I lost maybe another 80% when I talked about Star Trek. But those who are with me, please stick with me, because it's not about the movie itself, it's about the message, and it's about the thought and the inspiration that came out of it. So in Star Trek Beyond, the Star Trek movie of 2016, the Enterprise is attacked by a very powerful alien species. And they have to abandon the ship because the species, the aliens, destroy the Enterprise. And so the crew has to save themselves and to escape. And Spock, so you know Spock, right? The guy with the ears, the Vulcan. He manages to escape to the near planet with the doctor of the Enterprise, Dr. McCoy. And he's very badly injured. And they try to hide on the planet to avoid, because they're hunted down by the aliens. So Spock, now close to death and really in pain, hallucinates and philosophizes about life and death. He cannot possibly understand why humans would fear something that is so inevitable. So he says to Dr. McCoy, fear of death is illogical. And of course he would say that because he's a Vulcan. Remember, Vulcans are driven and guided by their logic and not by emotion. So he says to Dr. McCoy, fear of death is illogical. And Dr. McCoy turns to him and says, fear of death is what keeps us alive. And that was a big aha moment for me, because it is so true. Fear of death is a good thing. Fear of death is, as long as it does not keep us from living, as long as it does not paralyze us, it's a good thing. As long as it fuels us, it drives us forward, it's a good thing. Because the fear of death is what makes us want to avoid death. The fear of death is what makes scientists try to prolong life. The fear of death is what makes us to seek meaning in our lives. And then I took this a little bit further and I thought, but wait, this is exactly the same thing with fear of failure. Fear of failure is a good thing, because fear of failure is what makes us want to succeed, what makes us want to avoid it, what makes us give it our all. So fear of failure is actually, we should embrace it like a compass, like a guiding star, something that that is actually a human thing, not to avoid it really. And there is a very famous quote, in fact, that says, I'm sure you have seen it somewhere, that says, doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. And it means a very simple thing, that when we doubt ourselves, when we doubt whether we can do something or whether we are enough, we very often don't start doing something. And we wait for that fear, for the doubt to go away, but it will never go away. And there is another very famous quote that many successful people say. It says, feel the fear and do it anyway. The fear of failure, the fear will never go away. So it is all about feeling that fear and do things anyway. And if you look at failure again, let me give you another angle of looking at failure. You can't really possibly fail. Many people say you can't fail, you learn. But you need to look at it also from another perspective, that if you don't quit what you're doing, if you don't stop what you're doing, you can't possibly fail. And even if you stop and if you quit, normally it's because you decided you want to take maybe another road, you want to take maybe another direction. So if it's a conscious decision, then again, you can't possibly call this a failure. It is another step in your life. Okay? And so you can, as I say, you cannot possibly fail, because the only way you can say that you failed in something is when you say, I've tried it all. I've tried it all, there's nothing else we can do, so this is considered a failure. And so I guarantee you, however, that the very rarely people give 100%. There's always something that you can do. There's always something else that you can experiment with. So nothing really is a failure until you stop trying. If you're resilient, if you keep pushing forward, there's no such thing as failure. So this is why fear of failure is really something that is something that we need to embrace, to accept, but then move forward as it is. I mean, you and I both know, let's take it this way. At the end of our lives, when we meet our personal deadlines, we will start, of course, to be afraid. And I believe that we're not going to be afraid that we're going to die. I believe that we're going to be afraid because we have not given everything we got. We have still so much more to give to our kids, maybe our grandkids, or to the world. So, fear of failure is something irrelevant indeed. Because if you want to fear something, if you're really so keen on fearing something, you should fear that you have not given it your all. You should fear that you have not tried everything you want. That's what you should be fearing, not fear of failure. So, quite heavy, huh? And all these things from a line in a Star Trek movie, in a Hollywood movie. See, I hope you like this, and I hope it's inspired you a little bit and showed you that there is some truth and some inspiration in many things around us, even in a Hollywood movie. So if you like this, I hope you're going to subscribe for more and for weekly insights. I hope that you share this forward with your friends and for people who might be inspired by this. Until the very next post, all the best.